Hey, Kobe, you know what I need right now?
What's that?
Coffee. Strong. What's going on, guys? My name is Barry.
And this is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This?
Theme music.
What's going on, guys? We are on our third leg of our Nicolas Cage Month movies.
Right, and unless you are a Nick fan, like, that quote from the beginning could be from every Nicolas Cage movie.
But surprisingly enough, it was said by Tia Leone.
Yes.
Super hot in this movie, by the way. You know, early 2000s.
Right, at her prime.
Right. If you guys haven't guessed what movie we're doing, we watched The Family Man.
Right, which is probably not one you would have guessed that we would do if we were doing Nick Cage Month on underappreciated movies, because he's got so many.
Well, I mean, this is funny because this came out like during his height of popularity.
Right, yep.
In the what's called 2000s, it came out, and you know Nick Cage was still riding high off of Face Off with John Travolta.
Right.
Which will not be in this month because everyone and their mother has seen Face Off.
Right. Face Off and Con Air.
Oh, Con Air. It's like probably one of Nick Cage's most like quotable movies.
Oh yeah.
In that horrible Southern accent that he does. But you know, if like Nick Cage is doing it, you really can't question it.
Right, right.
But if you guys haven't seen The Family Man, it is pretty much it goes with the formula just like Scrooge.
Mm-hmm.
Like very alternate realities of what you could have done.
Yeah.
Like Bill Murray's Mr. Destiny. You know, so I feel like there's always like every decade there's always some sort of like defining movie, like just like a parallel universe type of thing.
Right, right.
Where it's a family
even
movie.
if it's like a Trading Places.
Yeah.
Or like like the Disney ones where it's like the two twins trade places, you know, one goes to the rich family, one goes to the poor family, and they trade. Like even that feels to me like it falls into the same category.
Yeah, there's also what's it called? About Time with Hux from Star Wars and Rachel McAdams, where they're like sort of time traveling. There's always like these type of movies, but it's just really the cast that you're gonna find yourself enjoying.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if there's not like the right cast, you're gonna feel a little disconnected from them. You're like, or you're just gonna generalize it as just one of those movies.
Oh, right.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about Nicolas Cage's The Family Man, where he is a high-powered stockbroker.
Yep.
He's the president of his brokerage company.
Right.
And in the beginning,
high power, New York City, high rise.
Oh yes, loose women.
Right. Right.
He's always saying. There's a point in the movie where Tia Leone is like, "Say it to me, Jack," and he goes, "You're a bad girl." But you can obviously tell there's a disconnect because what was the word she wanted to say? Like, "I love you."
Yeah.
Yeah. You know. But you could tell sort of like the type of man he could have became versus what he is, and he's like trying to come into grips with this in this movie.
Right.
Yeah. And we also get like I don't know how active Don Cheadle was during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is probably one of the first movies I remember him being in.
Yeah, because it was about this time that he started kind of also becoming a bigger actor.
Yeah, like he was, I mean, like in this one, he's still a like supporting role. Like he has a pretty small but important part.
Right.
And I think this is where he generally started to grow into a much bigger figure in Hollywood.
This sounds horrible, but is there movies where he's the star? Because like everything I think of, he is the strong supporting.
Well, there's that one movie with Adam Sandler It's see, even you gave me this face like you've never heard about this movie. But him and Adam Sandler are like were childhood friends. But I think the movie was about Adam Sandler coming back from like war, and Adam Sandler becomes like homeless. They're both living in New York, but he's homeless. Don Cheadle has a stable family life, and he's trying to help Adam Sandler out. And so it sort of becomes like a journey for them to grow back together and to help Adam Sandler out of like homelessness and help him with his like PTSD or something like that. It's one of Adam Sandler's more like serious roles.
I guess what I said. That doesn't sound like something you'd joke about.
Yeah, I mean, Don Cheadle was also in that terrible all-star cast movie Crash, where it was about like racism and stuff. But I think that movie got a lot of backlash, and I remember watching that movie, and it was just too in your face or something. I forgot. I had mixed feelings about that movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too.
But it was like an Oscar grab or whatever. That's
right. It was one of those ones where it was like, how does everybody love this movie so much? It's just, it's not doing it for me.
Right. But yeah, and so in this movie, Nicolas Cage, we're gonna hop into it. It's a long 2-hour movie, so I'm gonna skip through a lot and just give you the general premises, and we're just gonna try to talk about it from like start to end in discussion. So I hope you guys enjoy like a switch in the format. But we have Tia Leone and Nicolas Cage. They're at the airport, very 90s scene.
Right, and it's 88 or something.
It's
like
87.
1987.
Somehow they're in college. Tia Leone can kind of pull off like maybe a grad student college, but Nicolas Cage has that receding hairline.
You have to use a little imagination.
Or, maybe Nicolas Cage had just came back from the military and he's like around 28 to 30. No, he's not. He's supposedly like 21 in this scene. But yeah, Nick Cage has a offer to be an intern at a large brokerage in London.
Yes.
Tia Leone has just got accepted to a prestigious law school. And so they want to part ways. But at this part, even after they've made the plans, Tia Leone asked Nicolas Cage, "Hey, can you like stay? Let's just stay.
Right. Let's make New York our home, and we can
start our lives now.
Yeah, together.
Nicolas Cage kisses her, and Tia Leone's face is like, oh, he's accepted this proposal.
Right. And he has the idea that it's like, well, this is a year. This is going to get me like rocket launched into the career I want to be. And of course, a year from now, we'll just come back together in New York and be fine.
Yeah.
And
well, like his idea is like, it doesn't matter like a year or 100 years. I'm always going to want to be with you.
Right.
And so we can make this work. Like we'll have this year to focus on us, on ourselves, to propel ourselves into our career. That way, when I come back to New York, we're like this, like power couple.
Right. And I know a lot of people that are like that. Where it's like, I have this girl that I've been dating forever, but I don't want to get married while I'm in college. I gotta wait until I get my career job, and then we can start the family, and then it's go time. But it's I don't want to start those things before I'm ready. Yeah,
I mean, which is a smart plan, but it's a plan that only works if both parties are on the same page.
Right.
Obviously Tia Leone, she's especially when you're in college, time apart, kind of kills like early relationships during that age.
Right.
And so obviously we skip into the future. 13 years later, it's 2000. We have Nicolas Cage waking up in his high-rise apartment in New York.
Oh, yeah.
He's just slept with a 90s hot supermodel. And he heads into work. It's Christmas Eve. And, of course, Wall Street doesn't sleep on Christmas Eve. They're all working there. We have one guy named Alan. He's sort of out of it.
Right, and he's one of those actors that was in a ton of 90s movies, and like I don't know his name, but like he's never been like the main guy, but he always plays that kind of like small but important part.
Yeah, like an assistant or like a partner, but never like always in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's not focused onto the deal because he just wants to be at home with his family.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, of course, like Christmas Eve is super important, especially the younger your kids are, the more important it is. And Nicolas Cage is like, forget that. Money.
Right. You work through Christmas Eve and you work through Christmas Day, and we get this deal done, and then you could have the 26th off, and we could all go home with $1 million in our pocket.
Right. Yeah, he's like, because my Christmas gift has 10 zeros in it.
Right. I'm like, that's a lot of zeros.
I can't even fathom it. I feel like if I saw that in my bank account, I would just, there's a mistake.
Most of my jobs have had, my Christmas bonus have had 10 zeros in it, but the one was not anywhere near the beginning of that number.
Yeah, and so obviously Nicolas Cage is at the top of his game. He's the president of his broker. The CEO likes him, or whatever, the head of the company.
Right, yeah.
Likes him, and he tells him, like, hey, go to Aspen, talk to this deal we're trying to, like, merge or whatever. And so, yeah, and he's pretty much set up for this whole thing. You know, everyone's going to come into Christmas. He has the whole Aspen deal that he's going to go do. And so instead of, you know, when he goes home, instead of bringing the car, he just decides to walk because it's nice to walk in New York, you know?
Right.
He heads over to a grocery, like a bodega. If you guys, it's like a convenience store. That's what they call it in New York, because I used to live there. We have the Chinese guy from Rush Hour in this movie as the cash register guy. Do you remember him?
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
He's the one that hands Chris Tucker the towel, and he's all like, "Wipe yourself, you're bleeding." But yeah, this is where we see Don Cheadle comes in. He has a lotto ticket that he wants to cash in. He got 4 out of the 5 numbers, which is like around $236.
Right.
And then the Chinese guy doesn't want to give it to him because he believes it's fake.
Yeah.
And so like there's a argument. Don Cheadle pulls out a gun. Nicolas Cage says, "I'll buy the ticket off of you for $200. It's a business deal." And so pretty much he does that to get everyone out of this dangerous situation. Don Cheadle takes the deal, and he's like, "Hey, let's go, Jack." And he's like, "How'd you know my name?" He was like, "Oh, that's what I call all white people." But Don Cheadle's like, he asks him a question like, "Is there anything that's missing out of your life?" Nicolas Cage goes, "No."
Right, because Nicolas Cage is kind of doing that that advocate save you kind of speech that, you know, hey, you know what, with a little hard work, you don't have to pull a gun on somebody, and you know, you could make something, you know, you're a good guy, you're a smart guy, you could do something with your life. And that's where it's kind of like, well, isn't there anything missing out of your life? It's
so patronizing though when people do that to other people.
Right.
You know, because then like it happens to him later on into the film. But yeah, he ends up going to sleep, and he wakes up in bed with Tia Leone. Now he's living in this house in New Jersey with 2 kids, a dog, and a very sexy Tia Leone in just anything she's wearing.
Right.
She is house mom chic.
Totally.
And this is where we have a good chunk of the movie. I believe the runtime from this whole middle portion is about an hour and 20 minutes. And so we go through these little hijinks with Nicolas Cage.
Because, you know, he's obviously super confused. He's like, I am a millionaire, and I live in New York. Why am I in a smaller house in New Jersey with my girlfriend from college and a bunch of kids and a dog, and where the hell's my Ferrari?
Well, that's like one of the first questions he asks is like, "Where's my Ferrari?" He ends up driving to New York. He finds out that the building he used to live in, nobody knows him.
Right. And he's almost like, this is a prank show. What do you got? Let me in the building.
Yeah, the old lady is like, you know, maybe there's a homeless shelter for you or something like that. So what he was doing to Don Cheadle, like maybe there's a program that can help you out.
Right. Yep.
And so he ends up just ends up going back to his neighborhood. He's trying to find it. He runs into his bowling team friend.
Right. So in this life, that's his best friend.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't know who it is.
You don't really get too much FaceTime with Jeremy Piven in this movie. But yeah, you can sort of feel out their relationship, because Nicolas Cage, his character in this universe, is like, hey man, like you shouldn't cheat out. Don't wonder on the what ifs, when you have a good thing going.
Right.
And later Jeremy Piven does the same thing where he's like, there's not anybody in the tri-state area who'll give up their left nut to be married to your girlfriend or your wife, because she's like an awesome wife. Like throughout Nicolas Cage's like freakouts.
Right, and even through his freakouts, she is.
Cause man, those freakouts are really like cringe. Like like you ball your like hand into a fist. Like,
yeah,
that's not you, man. But yeah, so we go through this movie like for a good chunk of like the hour, maybe like around 15 minutes. Like he goes back and forth with like settling into this new life that he thinks he's in, and then trying to become the person he was in the life he remembers.
Right. Yes.
Right. It's like, but the funny thing about this is like, I think even after the first day, his daughter in this universe was like, "You're not my dad."
No, that was such a cute scene. Yeah.
and her ideal was, it's aliens.
Right. Because she's like, "You're not my dad," and he's like, "No, I'm not." And she walks over and she touches his face and she's like, "They did a good job." And he's like, "Who did?" He's like, "The aliens." Hopefully they'll let my dad come home one day.
Well, she was also like, she was also saying, you're not gonna kidnap me and my brother and then put seeds on our brains, right? So it's a really quirky kid, but she's like super funny.
Yeah.
I think she's like in a couple of other movies after this. I remember her.
Yes, she looked familiar.
Yeah.
I don't.
And she sort of becomes like Nicolas Cage's guide in this movie.
Right, almost as like Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, pretty much. We like, what else is she? Like, she could feel that it's not her dad.
Right, so she keeps trying to explain things. She's like, "Okay, yeah, remember that I don't get out of ballet till 5:30, but don't be late because it's embarrassing to be the only kid who hasn't gotten picked up."
It is though, right?
Right.
Do you remember? Like, I don't know if you ever got picked up from school by your parents, but like, it was. Yeah. But for me, it was like I always had to walk home, or like my mom, she tried her best to like pick me up, but for the most part, being raised by a single mother, you have to walk home a lot.
Right. Yep.
And so she she is her guide throughout this whole thing. She explains like the important moments, like when Nicolas Cage forgets their anniversary.
Right.
And
she's like, "Yeah, Dad always does something really big for the anniversaries." And he's like, "Oh, okay, well maybe I'll run and grab her some, we'll go to a jewelry store and get her some earrings." And she's like, "No, not like that." One year he bought her a star.
Well, yeah, but like it's funny because like when you have so much money, like Nicolas Cage's like main character in this does, his name is Jack. Like you don't think about like those small things like naming a star after somebody,
right?
Or planting a tree in someone's name,
right? It's like when you're rich, sometimes it's like, I bought you something expensive, so appreciate it. And
right.
When you're poor, it's like, I put a lot of thought into this cheap gift, but appreciate how much effort I made.
Yeah, so it's funny that he sees the contrast between the life and the things that he thought was important versus the life that this version of himself is living, and how much happier he seems to be.
Right.
Because there's a point in the movie where he watches a video of her birthday.
Right, because he even mentions that. He's like, a couple times earlier in the movie, he's like, he's like, how could somebody be happy in this life? How could somebody? You always talk about how happy we are, but how could we be happy if we're poor?
Right. Well, he's also especially mad that she's a nonprofit lawyer.
Right.
But that's one of those jobs that's just super commendable. Like, they're helping people out that can't afford these like $10, $15, $50,000 lawyer fees, especially when you lose. Like,
right.
Who else is gonna pay that back?
Yeah, and then like you were saying, then he starts watching old home movies.
Yeah.
Of the two of them,
and like his birthday gift that year was him singing a public. Was it the song the la 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 la
yeah
la 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 la. But it's funny, in that video there's a redhead in there named like I don't know her name. The redhead chick,
right?
And
it was like, it was an important part, but it was like almost skimmed over. It was the neighbor's wife who they always had like a flirty relationship.
Yeah.
And because he doesn't know this world, he actually kind of point blank says, is there something going on between the two of us? And that's when she's like, well, if we're going to be honest, I've always wanted there to be. And then he's like, oh, maybe I'm going to have an affair.
Which is like a terrible thing to do. I mean, but like, you know, she explains, I have 6 set of snow tires, but I never drive in the snow.
Because he works at a tire place.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what though? You can never trust a woman in leopard print. It's always the women wearing leopard print that is having an affair or doing the delivery guy or whatever, or the pool boy. But yeah, like at that point, he tries to brag to Jeremy Piven, his best friend in the bowling league, and this is where he's like, everyone would give their left nut to be with your wife. Don't mess it up. He says that the trust union is unforgiving, and if you try to deposit somewhere else, they'll close your account forever.
Yeah,
which is like a really good metaphor for like, hey, don't cheat on your wife because you're gonna fuck that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after he watches that tape, I think the next morning he gets the jacket that he had a meltdown over when they were going to shop.
Yes.
Because he wanted like a $2,300 jacket.
Right, because it was a jacket a brand of jacket that he wore in his rich life.
Yeah.
And he was like, sometimes just, wearing a suit makes you feel better about yourself. And she's like, yeah, you look fantastic in that suit. And he's like, I'm going to get it. And she's like, we can't afford that. You're going to have to dip into the kids' college fund if you want to buy that jacket.
Yeah, but then he goes into this spiel that you should never do to your wife because it makes it seem like you're the only one sacrificing when the woman is the one that's like carrying the baby and like her body's getting all messed up.
Yeah.
But she does say like, the Jack I know doesn't need a suit to feel good about himself, which is, but I mean, to his point, I do like wearing a suit.
Right?
It makes you feel like James Bond.
It does.
I think the only time, whenever I wear a suit, I go to when I go to like a wedding or something like that. But I always go to the bartender and I always do the James Bond like dry martini, shaken, not stirred, and then I'll end up just really ordering a beer. But she does end up getting him a knockoff jacket, sort of that looks like the jacket that he wanted.
Right.
For their anniversary. This is where he messes up
because he didn't know it was their anniversary because he doesn't.
Yeah, right. Because then I think if you flood him with memories, his brain will break. In other,
yeah,
in movies like The Butterfly Effect, I think that's what was happening. But he's going through plans with his daughter and is like, "What should I do?" And she's like, "I don't know. I'm a kid." But he's like, "Oh, did she ever go into the city?" And she's like, now you're thinking. And so they have this wonderful dinner. They're like at a semi-fancy place.
Right. And so because he lived in the city he knows the ins and outs of, where's the best restaurants, what's the best things to order in these fancy restaurants.
Yep. And so, he orders stuff in French because in his past life he knew French. He tries to order a 1982 Lafite bottle, but it's $800. It's like, never mind.
A nice wine by the glass.
And that night, he takes her to the hotel, and they do it.
Yep.
But it's a really sweet little getaway for them, like a little almost like a staycation just for their anniversary.
Right.
And then I forgot. And then he sort of starts to settle into this new life, and then we catch him at the tire shop, and then his old boss from his former life comes with their flat tire, and he tries to get his old job back, and then he brings Kate to this nice New York brownstone type of house.
And he's got the weird in with his old boss because the deal that was supposed to go through on Christmas, the guy who was his partner who wasn't really into it because he had kids, he settles the deal at $120 billion, and he knew, and Nick Cage was going to settle it at $133 billion. So he tells his old boss this is what he could have done to get this much more money, and then all of a sudden it's when my car is fixed, why don't you personally drop it off with me?
And so obviously that is a rich people talk for you have an interview. I'm going to test you in this world.
Right.
And he kills it. I mean, but it's only because he has prior knowledge.
Right.
He's he talks to Alan, who was his partner or his assistant or guy.
And he definitely talks to Alan like Alan's still his underling, even though Alan's the president of the company.
Right. But he nails him right in the head. He also nails his old boss right in the head because he has prior knowledge. And so he's like, okay, Alan, take him, show him around the office. And Alan asserts himself because he's been in this role now for a while. And so he's not this pushover that Nicolas Cage is used to.
Right. He's much more the Nick Cage person now.
Yeah.
Because he's had to be.
Yeah. But I think it goes, and then this is where he takes Kate to the brownstone apartment that him and the kids could possibly live in. And he's like, I'm happy here. We can give the kids this very upper class lifestyle of New York.
Right. And it's almost that I want my cake and I want to eat it too, because now I can have this high paying job and we can live in the city because that's what I want.
Yeah.
But then I can also, but I don't want to give up you, and I'm loving the kids and the dog, and so I'll just move you here into my old world, and then we could be a happy family.
Yeah. But Kate is like, no, you want to rip the kids away from what they know, what they love, the house that we got together. You want to take that away. And then later on, when they go back to their home, she's explaining to him, I always wanted to grow old with you in this house where I'm doing the lawn, or where I'm doing the garden and you're painting a fence or something. The kids will come back for holidays to see us. But if this job is what makes you happy, if you want... And she sort of guilt trips him. She's like, if you want me to rip our daughter away from the friends that she loves, then I'll do it, because I will always pick us over everything else.
Yeah.
Which is okay, fine, you win, Miss Guilt Trip. But Nicolas Cage ends up picking that. He wants the life that Tia Leone has described to him.
Right.
And there's also, this is where you learn that, Tia Leone was always there's always a bigger person in a relationship. And she is definitely that person.
Yeah.
Who's always going to choose them over everything else.
Right.
And so, he tries to settle. He's like, all right, that's the life I want. And so he goes about trying to live this life until he has to go get rock salt. from the convenience store, and Don Cheadle is there, and he's testing another person who obviously fails.
Right.
I mean, I think though when I started working, I was definitely like giving money back if I got too much money, because like, dude, like when you're counting a register and you're like short money, you're like sad because you might lose your job or something like that. But he freaks out at Don Cheadle. He's like, you can't just tear people from their lives, man.
and then did he explain at the beginning or here where it was like, so I'm not tearing people away. It's a glimpse.
Yeah.
It's just giving you a glimpse of what your life could have been.
Yeah. Yeah, and so at this point, Nicolas Cage knows that his time is soon gonna be up. Yeah. And it's sad because like that morning earlier, his daughter thought like, oh, my dad is back.
Right. Yeah, they're out playing in the snow.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, Dad, I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. Which is like, to him, it's like heartbreaking because he feels like now he's grown attached. He's also past like the first year of the baby's life.
Right. Yeah.
It's always easy to come in the middle. But he goes to kiss the girls, or he goes to kiss his daughter, his son, goodnight. He doesn't get into bed with Tia Leone. He just sits in a chair watching her sleep and trying to stay awake as long as possible because he feels like if I go to sleep now, I'm going to wake up back.
Right, because that's what happened last time he went to sleep. We woke up in this new life.
Yeah, and it's exactly what happens. He falls asleep and he wakes up alone in his high rise in New York City. They made this look as drab and depressing as possible.
Right, and it's the same, and it looked so elegant at the beginning, and then now it just feels so lonely.
It's like this emptiness that they gave you, like, oh, here's like this full life that you could have had. Now it's empty.
Right.
It became the color palette of American Psycho. But Nicolas Cage, he gets a call from his company. He's like, hey, dude. What's it called? Before he goes to his work, he goes to the house in New Jersey and finds out that Kate doesn't live there. It's like a person he doesn't know.
Right.
So he goes to work, and his company calls him like, hey, you're a half an hour late. We're trying to close this deal. What's going on? He gets to the job. Alan, his right-hand man, is like, we're going to lose the deal. And he's like, and he settles back sort of into his old life.
Right.
And then he's on his way to the airport to Aspen, but he goes to Tia Leone's apartment.
Yes, because he has his secretary, or it was his secretary?
His secretary, yeah.
Like, do some research and find out where she lives.
Yeah.
And way at the beginning of this, she had called and left him a message.
Yeah, to contact her back.
Right. So he's like, maybe she called me because
she's nostalgic.
And then I'll show up and it'll be like,
I want to marry you. But when he ends up getting there, she's in this really nice brownstone. She's a lawyer. She's super busy.
Yeah, she's also a successful single lawyer.
Right.
Like he's the successful single
stockbroker. But for him, he was weeks into that life that he saw.
Right.
And so now it looks like it, or it feels like he's been holding on to her this whole time. But she really just contacted him to just give him his old stuff back.
Right. Yeah. She came across a box of his old stuff, and she's moving to London,
Paris, because they're opening up a new law firm there. But I mean, like, keeping your ex's things for that long, for 13 years, it has to mean something, right?
Right.
Because then, so it felt like she maybe still hadn't gotten over him. To me, not in the movie.
Right.
But but she's gearing to to leave anyway, so to her it doesn't really matter. But he goes back to on the way to the airport again. He ends up changing his mind and running to the airport. This is a very 90s scene.
Right, because he's supposed to be going to the airport to go to Aspen.
Yeah.
And instead, when he gets to the airport, he's like, I'm going to run to her flight.
Which you can't do anymore.
Right.
You have to get them before they go through the boarding pass line.
Now with the coronavirus, you don't even get out of the car.
And and he tries to catch up to her.
Yeah, and so he sees her just about boarding the plane, and he yells, "Don't get on the plane!" And everybody stops and looks because, like, Final Destination. What? Why aren't we getting on the plane? And he's like, you can get on another flight later tonight. Just
have a cup of coffee.
Have a cup of coffee with me. Take the time. And she's like, no. And then he starts describing the life that they had together in the other place.
In the parallel universe.
Right. Describe the house, describe their kids.
Described her, like, profession.
Right.
But, like, saying that, like, even though we were, like, middle class, that we were way more happy than anybody could be.
Yeah.
And again, proving that Tia Leone is the better person, she stays.
She stays.
Because, I mean...
Or is his sales pitch just better than hers was?
No. Maybe. Because, you know, when, like, Nicolas Cage says something with conviction, you're like, oh, it must be true.
But, right.
But, no, yeah, she's down for it. And then we end up having a scene with them eating at the airport lounge. It's snowing, and it starts to pull out, and we get credits.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is where we might assume that, you know, either Nicolas Cage moves to Paris with her, or she stays and works a nonprofit or something. I don't know. But, like,
right, yeah. I mean, it certainly leaves that open to your imagination.
Yeah, because, I mean, right now, at this point in their lives in the movie, they're like, what, 33, 34.
Right.
And it's perfect marrying age, you know, perfect time to have kids. But, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. As far as, like, even though it's like one of a dozen type of parallel, like, lives type of movies that are out there, Nicolas Cage really doesn't do a Nicolas Cage thing in here, except for, like, when they're having the chocolate cake fight and he, like, catches her by the stairs and is like, oh. That is probably the most Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, and then the part where he wakes up and then leaves the house, he's pretty Nicolas Cage until he meets Cheeto for the second time.
Yeah.
And he kind of he does very not explain what's going on, but still gives you the idea of what's going on.
Yeah. It's a very vague explanation.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Don Cheadle's pretty much just saying, like, enjoy this time, man. Because, you know, this is just a glimpse of where your life could have been if you had said yes to your heart and no to your brain. Right. Yep. But, yeah, Nicolas Cage really I think he does a great performance for a family movie.
It was. He's got quite a range for an actor. I mean, he certainly usually picks that over the top action movie, or you know, even like National Treasure or whatever. It's still over the top,
outlandish.
Action. Yeah. But this movie definitely had a lot of heart to it.
Yeah. Especially the relationship with him and his daughter was, like, super adorable. And right. it sort of, I think, sends out a good message for the most part, where, like, sometimes one thing will make sense, but will feel a whole lot shittier than the other thing. Yeah. Or just, you know, or it's just saying, like, take a chance on this.
Right. Know? Right.
What was your first thoughts when I showed you the trailer, Kobe?
I love movies like this. And it's got the characters in it where it's not going to be super hardcore serious. I know I'm not going to be like crying during the movie. But because like Taya Leone, it was like she's usually a little more comic-y, even though she's been in some action movies and some serious movies. She's a little more comic-y. Nicolas Cage is, usually a little bit over the top. So it's, it's not that super hardcore, like tearjerker kind of movie.
Yeah.
So, that's why I always like Mr. Destiny. I thought that was another one of those ones where it had a lot of heart, but it was because of the characters in it were lighter and fun. It felt so
it's like a little bit more. It feels a little bit more relatable.
Yeah.
Than other films. Definitely, I think Tia Leone gives like such a great sort of vibe to her. We're like, yeah, Tia Leone would be a really good girlfriend,
right,
or wife. And like, man, there's definitely parts where you're like, oh, like when she's like dancing butt naked in the shower, and you're just like seeing her silhouette. You're like, man, even through that opaque shower sliding door, that's a great figure.
And she's pretty and fun and smart enough that like everybody is like, I want that to be my wife.
She is setting unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
For other like husbands out there. Because and she's also playful enough, like when they're fighting over probably one of the cutest scenes in the movie, until Nicolas Cage ruins it with the "you're a bad girl," is the chocolate cake fight where they're running around the house. He's like, give me my cake back.
Right. Yep.
But it's like it's small moments like that I feel is like the most like genuine and very relatable, because it's like you're an adult for so long, and you have to have moments where you act like a kid sometimes. And this is definitely something that you would do as like a teenager if you have like a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, give me my food back. I told you to order extra fries if you wanted extra fries. Stop eating my fries. Oh, Kobe, did you have like any favorite moments in this movie?
Probably like my favorite moment was the whole when the first time he changes the son's diaper and he doesn't have any idea what to do, and that's when like the daughter is just starting to like be his guide.
Yeah.
And she thinks he's an alien, so she's not quite sure what to say, so she's just kind of pointing. He's like, and she kind of points at the little diaper genie, and then he's like, and then she points at the wet wipes, and
it's almost like what YouTube was before YouTube,
Right.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a fun moment. I think the moment where he watches the home video was like a really sweet like moment, just because I think after 13 years of marriage, it was nice to see like, oh look, even if maybe he's just singing to her, it's super sweet. And it's funny because in that video you could see the redhead that wants to fuck Nicolas Cage and she is just dripping with jealousy watching him like pretty much put his wife on this like pedestal and like go to everybody, like, look how wonderful my wife is.
Right. And he's embarrassing himself for her, where like that's not something most husbands would do.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of sweet, heartfelt moments in here. Yeah, this movie is definitely not like super heavy where you're gonna be tear jerking, but you look at that life and you're like, that's a pretty sweet life.
Right. Yep.
Even if he's just, he's just running a tire shop and all that stuff, and she's working at a nonprofit, and they're probably trying to figure out how to pay for 2 college tuitions.
Oh yeah, law degree and a business degree. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're probably still paying off their college degrees. But, there's always, she could always make the jump from nonprofit to another law firm.
Right.
Whenever she wanted to. But I think she was happy where she was in that lifetime. And, it's just like one of those movies where, like, no matter, like, how good your choices are, there's always going to be, like, little tiny regrets.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't think anybody who who gets close to middle age doesn't have that, like, what if this one moment was different?
Yeah.
How much would it have changed?
Yeah.
Everything going forward.
And so I mean, it throws him at the end of the movie. It throws him back into his old life, and I think from this point on is what you're supposed to learn is you try to choose the path that you feel like will have the less regrets in the future. Right. Just because, like, I mean, no road out there is regret free, but you try to choose the best one where you could live with those regrets, because they'll be so minimal to you. Right. Because in the future, like, you could be like, well, I could still be the president of this brokerage company, but I wouldn't have this person in my life and not be happy with this person. I'd be back to having this cold American psycho, like, solitary, lifestyle where I'm probably dating girls half my age that are just waiting for me to croak and die.
Right. No, exactly. I'm like, I opened a comic book store.
Yeah.
I had saved up a bunch of money. I blew it all. In 7 years, the comic store closed, and I ended up, broke. But it was at least 5 of those 7 years were fantastically fun. I don't know if I would, if I had to do it again. I don't know if I would
open another store.
I don't know if I would choose to skip the comic store to keep the money.
Right. Oh, I mean, yeah, because I mean, even like, so when just like for you, when you opened your second store after the first one had to close,
right?
You still had people, like, now at the second store, you had people still coming to you, like, who remembered you when they were kids. And, remember you giving them, like, a fun environment and a safe environment.
Right.
To, like, sort of cultivate themselves. And a lot of those kids, like, a lot of those people that came to your new store were, like, full-grown adults. We had Rick Danger on the show.
Yep.
And, he's super successful guy. He's in finance.
Right. And he started coming to my first store when he was, like, 14.
Right. Scrawny.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, just like you, like, would you take back those 5 years? The 5 out of 7 good years that you had?
There's a lot of little decisions throughout that 7 years that I would have changed, but I think I still would. If knowing what I know, I think I still would have done it. Right. Because it was just...
Well, like, knowing what you know now, you probably would just skip over some decisions that would still have you at the store.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm sure, like, a lot of people still wish you had the store.
I wish I still had the store. I need to win the lottery and have like $1 million, and then I don't have to worry about money, and then I could just open the nonprofit store.
You have volunteer workers. I don't know if that works. But yeah,
internships,
business classes.
Yes.
But yeah, and so I think that's the takeaway I had from this movie, is that, like, maybe now you can't dwell on your past regrets. You just try to go forward and move on with a road with less regrets that you'll be sad about or something.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. What was your takeaway from this movie?
Oh, yeah. No, same thing. That, sometimes everything's for the best. Yeah. Even if there seems like that you could have done better. Like, you appreciate what you have, and then, then it doesn't make those bad decisions in the past seem
so bad. Right. So yeah, I bet you guys weren't expecting this very philosophical conversation from a Nicolas Cage movie.
Right?
I mean, there's definitely dozens of movies like this. Nicolas Cage, and this one is just fun to watch. Nicolas Cage and Tia Leone, like, really work well together.
Oh, they work fantastic together.
Yeah, and you believed her in this. man, Tia Leone is the wife that you want, like the type of wife,
right?
Because I mean, obviously, like in this movie, he's always stressing out. He's mad that they're not making money, but she's out here just trying to make the best out of it all.
And even when he, hurts her feelings and she goes to bed mad the next morning, it's like, it's a new day. We'll start fresh.
Let's try not to hold on to these mad things. I mean, even after his freak out at the mall, on the drive back, she's like, "You're being funny. I'm still mad at you." And that's what fellas, that's what you need out there, is you need to have a little bit of a sense of humor to escape your wife's wrath.
Yeah, and I mean, like, she really takes it as he's just kind of having, like, this
bad week or whatever.
A little bit of a midlife crisis, that it's not somebody from some other world that's, trying to force himself into a mold that he doesn't fit.
Right. Because, I mean, definitely, like, from what you could tell from their backgrounds and at this point in their life, there's definitely a moment where, like, the guy freaks out, or the husband will be like, "Is this what I really wanted for myself?"
Oh, right.
And that's what she takes it as.
Yeah.
And I think for her being a nonprofit lawyer, she probably sees that at the office where, like, my husband left me and bought a Ferrari. And she's really trying in this movie to just reel him back into the reality that they're in. We're like, yo, we can't afford this. You don't have a Ferrari. You don't live in Manhattan.
Right. Yeah.
But we have a life that everybody already envies.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, we have Jeremy Piven, who's just like, yo, I would be with your wife so fast. we have the redheaded chick who's trying to bed Nicolas Cage this whole movie.
Right. Yep.
And for some reason, I kept thinking that there was a scene in this movie where Nicolas Cage goes to the house but chickens out instead of just Jeremy Piven.
I expected that to happen.
Yeah.
That's why I said it was an important part of the movie, but then they just didn't really. It was the only part of the movie I didn't feel like they did enough with.
Yeah.
Like they got that and then they just kind of dropped it.
Yeah. Well, because after he goes to brag to his best friend, that's where he like tries to snap him out of it.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not gonna fuck her. You already have the wife everyone wants to do. And so like the scene where they're first gonna do it, it's super funny just because I feel like it's what a lot of married couples go through, is when Tia Leone bursts into the bedroom and is like, the kids are asleep, and she's slowly trying to take off her clothes while setting the mood music, and it's always I always remember, like, I don't like this song, and I think it's only because they played so much in 90s music, but it's that Dangerous Liaison song. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know why. Was that a big song for you, like, during the 90s?
I remember that song, and like you said, it's in a ton of movies.
Yeah.
But
was it ever mood music for you?
Not ever mood music for me.
I mean, it's a little bit better than what like my mood music was like a whole bunch of R&B, like Usher, and sometimes like a trap song will be in the middle of it, like, oh, that means go fast. But yeah, it's that I think that part in the movie is really funny because she is like, we have to hurry because you might fall asleep.
Right, and this part's like that where it's like, it's ridiculous but so realistic.
But like, while they're making out, she's like, well, why are you looking at me like that?
How can you look at me like you haven't looked at me every day for the last 13 years?
Yeah, and then I think that gets her more into the mood to like sort of freshen up. But then when she comes out and she's like, ooh, in this nice little black nightgown, and he falls, he air quotes falls asleep. Right. Which I think for him, he just fell asleep because he felt guilty.
Yeah. Yeah.
About doing this version's
because like I think all of his, in his other life, all of his relationships are very emotion free.
Yeah, very hollow.
And then since he's really getting the feels for her, it just doesn't feel right to kind of step into almost somebody else's shoes, even though it's him.
Yeah. Even though, the same person.
Right. Almost like you get a movie with like twins and it's like, the wife is all on the brother and he's like, I could do this, but should I? One
of my dreams is to like marry a twin girl and then like all of a sudden they want to switch. The reverse of that, like, oh, let's try out this sister. But yeah, and I think that was a really good character moment for Nicolas Cage in this movie, because then she's already falling asleep, but he like he wakes up, he's awake in that scene.
Yeah. And I'm like, she had made jokes that earlier that they've got to do something now because
he'll fall asleep.
Oh, that's right, because he's like, do you want to get a bottle of wine? And she's like, no, because I know you'll by 11 o'clock you'll be asleep.
That's such an adult sleep time, right? But yeah, we're coming close to our hour. So Kobe, we got to go to our review. If this is the first time you guys are joining us, our review is 4 sections, which is stream it, DVD it, Blu-ray it, and Ultimate Box Collection. Where are you at, Kobe?
I would definitely DVD this. Maybe I'd go Blu-ray. I don't know if there'd be anything special or extra that's worth.
I think the Blu-ray would probably be a 3-pack.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you went and did like the Ultimate Box, kind of like we've been saying, every Ultimate Box Collection, we get like every one of Nicolas Cage's movies in one box.
But yeah, this is definitely for you. It's a definite buy it, but you just don't know. Like probably like a DVD as a standalone.
Because I would love to watch this again.
Yeah, like it's like almost like it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie. It'd be a good date movie,
right? Well, after like when you're dating seriously, I don't know about first date movie like marriage.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat with you. I definitely buy this for DVD. Because really the Blu-ray, I don't know what it's gonna add. It's a family film in the 2000s. It's not gonna have any special effects. But if the Blu-ray had it in a 3-pack or a 4-pack of Nicolas Cage movies, I'd buy it there. And then if the Ultimate Nicolas Cage Collection came out in the Wicker Man basket, buy that. But this is definitely worth a buy, guys. It's just a good family movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Nicolas Cage movie, Nicolas Cage episode. I hope you guys join us for next week's final Nicolas Cage movie, which is the most meme-tastic Nicolas Cage movie out there.
Vampire Kiss.
And that's the movie we're gonna end Nicolas Cage month on.
Yep.
Right. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Just to let you guys know, all of our show notes are on the bottom. If you want to email us, please review us on whatever podcast app you're using.
Like us, share us,
and all that goodness. Let us know too if you like us on. Let us know on our emails and whatever. That's it for today's show, guys. I'm Barry.
And this is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check out the person who does our theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage, and her Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.